ready to go, and once more I want to tell you guys that you can find even additional information on the official website and on our pages on social media. But this match is definitely, I would say, arguably outside of the final, the most important match of the weekend, because if you make it to the top 4, you're guaranteed a copy of the YCS prize card, which is definitely a prize that is worth celebrating alongside your friend. So I'm sure these guys will be even more focused than they already were tomorrow. So looking at the deck lists, what do you think is the main difference between these guys' deck list?
So Daniel, as we saw yesterday, is main decking 3 copies of Artifact Lancia, which is going to be very huge in my opinion, and he's also playing 3 Pot of Prosperity along with the Pot of Desires. So he has a lot of good starters, while on the other hand, Danilo is playing Lancia as well, but he's only relying on Pot of Prosperity and is playing Foolish Burial Goods, which we haven't seen so much this weekend, but I think is very good because it gives you one more card in the graveyard like the Shinglong if you really need to start things off, and it's going to be a very interesting duel. Especially because I think that, you know, as you said before, the die roll is not that important. I think players usually want to win the die roll, but it was not that relevant because playing so many hand traps and being prepared to play against this kind of matchup is always good to have multiple options.
Absolutely, and if you just tuned in, you're not going crazy, because it seemed as if Danilo won the die roll, but our judges just communicated to us that for the first time, I think in my career, both as a player and as a commentator, they decided for a low roll, so the lowest roll wins, and that is why we're seeing Daniel go first. And he will do with a pretty strong opening, so... the Pot of Prosperity works out, but as you can see here, there is a little bit of a flaw in his deck building, because the Prosperity is a great tool, but it limits the card drawn in the same turn. You cannot activate cards that will draw you more cards, so the Pot of Desires are not actually useful. Okay, so Ash Blossom comes down.
I think this is a smart play, but if he has Gamma, he has
Ooh, wow. Wow, we're already seeing us. Wow, okay. This one is being quite a fast one. So Danilo, I think just like yesterday, went second in game 1 and he opens 2 hand traps. This was enough against his opponent in round 1, Benjamin. But let's see if it is gonna be the same case here. At the end of the day, with 3 cards left in hand, there is a good chance that Daniel can still do a few combos, but let's just see how good the rest of these cards are.
What do you think? I think the Ash was good here on the city because
yeah, it's understandable.
I mean, he had the Shinglong, maybe he really needed to have cards in the graveyard, so I think it's fair. It's a fair move.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now it's all on Daniel. He definitely needs some good virtual world monsters, like a Lulu, plus a way to trigger it would be perfect. But again, you can see here just how much the die roll does not impact this specific matchup, so...
Having so many hand traps gives you the opportunity to stop your opponent, and being smart when... Ooh,
okay, and yet again another of the tech cards. Ooh, interesting hands though. He had actually Nibiru. Yeah, as you can see here, because of the Prosperity, the talent cannot draw 2 cards. So it will use the effect to look at your opponent's hand and just pick one of them. And it will be the Nibiru. Okay. I mean, not much of a choice, I guess, since the other was just 2 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. But this makes it so that this game will be a weird one. Unless Daniel actually has a way to combo off. Okay.
Now, I think Daniel really here needs to make something, because next turn Danilo will have direct access to the Shinglong with the Foolish Burial Goods. But here is very good because you can activate the Lao Lao, and
yeah, it's not super impressive, but
he can still manage to maybe go for a Shen Shen. Let's see,
because The one in normal summon is a Lulu, right? So
Yeah.
aren't they both tuner then? That's the thing. So you cannot synchro summon. That's the problem. So he probably makes like an M7 or yeah. So he goes for the M7. That's the main issue. Since they are both tuners, he couldn't go for a synchro summon, but at least he found a way to make the best out of it and just go for an M7.
Yeah, I think he really wants to have a sort of interaction because.
And I think he activated the effect
Yeah.
to get back the Lulu, probably. Yeah.
It seems like, yeah.
So the Gamma should be banished alongside the driver, and as it is. And now Danilo needs something. I mean, he has a lot of good draws because the Foolish Poodle Goods means that he can send the Quinglong and just discard the other copy to get any good virtual words. So if he top decks something like a city or another decent card, I think Daniel is in trouble.
Yeah, if he drew any other virtual war monster, I think he's in a good position because the Xinglong, he can discard the other copy of Foolish Poodle Goods. But this is pretty interesting. Maybe he passed turn. Let's see. It's not clear, but
yeah, I think he didn't get what he was looking for.
and he decided to pass. Maybe just hopes. Maybe he found a Lancia. Let's see. Yeah, he drew a Lancia, which is good. I mean, he's maybe preventing Daniel from making more moves this turn, but. It's not easy. I mean,
It's tough. It's definitely one of the ways. I think Adrian Dursun, one of the players that was eliminated yesterday, said that he thinks this deck is quite good because he can do both. Basically, things that a control deck would do, which is what we are seeing right now. But it also works as a combo deck, which is the main focus. But this is why the mirror match. As a lot of players we interviewed yesterday, they mentioned they decided to bring a different deck because they were not comfortable with the mirror match. And here you can see why. Calamity is really good, but it's usually not enough on his own to win, and therefore these grind games happen more than you would think so.
And now let's see if Danilo finds out a way. Wow, no, he didn't.
No, Danilo, unfortunately, after stopping his opponent right away, doesn't seem like he found much, so... Do you think it was worth activating the good, at least one of the goods at the beginning?
Yeah,
or?
I think he could have activated one goods at least to send a Xinglong and maybe, you know... just because you cannot activate another copy in the same turn, so maybe it would have been better, but seems like Daniel has...
I mean, I don't think... The only mistake I think Daniel should prevent is playing on Nibiru.
Yeah.
Because Danilo is only at 5300, so if you just maybe go for a synchro summon directly. Yeah, and I think that's what he's doing now. He's counting because now he's on 2 summons. I think if you just summon another virtual word and then you synchro, it's 4. And you exactly. So the Kirin is the correct one. You just go for Kirin, synchro summon, and it's enough. So
okay, here comes the Lily targets the Lulu. Yeah.
So it's gonna send both the trap and a spell, and I think this should be enough. The only way I can see this going wrong is if he plays on to the Nibiru, but he has one more summon yet to be safe.
Yeah, here he just needs a synchro summon. I think he's just making some maths.
Yeah, and this is actually even enough if he doesn't synchro summon, I believe. So he doesn't need to do much, and he enters the battle phase. Danilo has seen enough, so well played by Daniel, and we have already the game 1 winner here. It's Daniel Hartmann. Definitely an interesting game. It seems like Danilo stopped his opponent, but in the end, the triple tactics talent, I think it's the card that sealed the deal.
Yeah, it paid off because Danilo didn't have that much. I mean, he started off with Ash and Gamma, which were very good, and we thought he could have stopped Daniel's turn, but unfortunately he drew into a Lancia, which stopped Daniel from making other moves into this second turn. Yeah, maybe he could have activated a Foolish Poodle Goods, but I think he didn't change the match. So
yeah, he wouldn't have changed much.
And right now, I think looking at the side deck, I mean, we were talking about it. Maybe I think Danilo will, by the moment that he lost game one, he didn't really want to risk. And yeah, I mean, he has triple tactics talents if he wants to side them in. I think they're very good by starting. And
yeah, it's the main difference in their deck list, I would say. It's that Daniel is already maining the card, while Danilo has the copies. And we just saw how good it is. It's really good going first, because it acts as a pseudo call by the grave, allowing you to push forward. But it's also just as amazing going second, because they open calamities, then you can just either take control of it or just fish for more. While his opponent is supposed to be going second, and he has quite a lot of resources in the side deck.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna be easy, because, I mean, in this kind of mirror match, you can also... You have a lot of different options. That's the Mischief, which is very good. Even if you go second, I mean, it's a good card. And
yeah, but mainly also, I'm looking at Dark Lure no more. Exactly. Usually, you rarely see calamities being activated in the standby phase because of Gamma. And if Dark Lure no more comes down, then that could be a really quick game for Daniel. So.
And now, Danilo, I think, yeah, we'll go first. So, ends are picked up.
Yeah. Let's see if this game will be decided once more by the card we just highlighted on screen for you guys. One of the most impactful spells at the moment. And once again, for the second game in a row, we see Pot of Prosperity being activated.
This card gave a huge boost to all of these decks that really relied on seeing new cards and new resources. We've seen these cards in sub-errors, and also yesterday being played by Zodiac Eldritch. So I think it's a very good card from Blazing Vortex, yeah.
I think pretty much every deck is using it at the moment, so not much of a surprise, and it makes sense. I mean, it's never a bad card to use even in the main deck, and once it gets to the game tune 3, it just so easily gets you one of the side deck cards. So let's see what Danilo is gonna add. The talent is there among the options, but he may be looking for something more combo-ish, and he does pick up the Lily. So
yeah, it looks like he already has maybe a CD or a Qinglong, which could be very good.
Let's see.
Yeah,
the Qinglong comes down. And now the Lily is activated. Let's see if Daniel has a response. Doesn't seem like he's that concerned at the moment. So we will see a monster and a trap being sent to the graveyard. And this is also one of the main differences. Danilo is playing the one copy of Xuan Wu, while Daniel is not using the card at all, which is not the most common deck building I've seen this weekend for this deck.
But yeah, it's usually one off card that you really want to play, because it gives you one extra chance to you know, have a different combo. And I mean, maybe he felt confident enough not to play.
Yeah.
So
here we could see a bunch of different options. One is to summon the Vermilion to just destroy itself and get back the Lulu and go from there, which is one of the standard plays. Because then you can easily just go for a Cloud Castle. But oh, the Cold by the Grave. This is very brave by Danilo. He gives up Cold by the Grave. And let's see if he will be punished by that. As expected, he goes for Vermilion. But now the Lancea comes down, and that Cold by the Grave could have been so good. So an interesting line of play by Daniel, and unfortunately Danilo thought that the talent was better than the cold buy, which is quite arguable. And now he reveals the end of 2 ops, so it's either GG or CD.
What would you do in that situation? I mean, you
probably the GG for sure. Like, no, because I mean, at least you can normal summon the other GG and it has some sort of use, while the second CD is completely useless. So
it's interesting that he decided to discard the gold buy. I think maybe he felt safer with the triple tactic style.
Yeah, this will be, I think, the game changer. Like, With the cold buy, he could have done the turn without caring about his opponent, because as we just saw, it was the only entrop, but maybe he felt like the Lancia would have come earlier. As you said, sometimes in the mirror match, you just use it in the draw phase, the standby right away. So
yeah, this is another interesting discussion, because he could have activated immediately, you know. He knows that his opponent is playing virtual world. Maybe he could have shotgun it, maybe, or maybe just wanted Danilo to use some of his resources.
Yeah, either way, let's hope that Danilo doesn't regret too much his play. And now, as expected, we see the GG and the CT we knew were there. So pretty good opening. He now gets to send the Queen Long and just go off from there. And that means that the last card in Danilo hand is a card that he kept alongside, and it's a Lancia. Okay, so we see the Lancia once more trying to decide the match. It reminds me a lot of the Necrots format, where you would just use Lancia every turn, and usually the second Lancia was the game winner.
Yeah.
So
it was a very grand game. You know, you have to consider all the options. Be careful about what killers at the time. So.
Yeah, because now the problem is we know one of the cards in Daniel land is completely useless, which is the other copy of City. So he's relying entirely on the top deck, and he doesn't have it. So he just passes back to his opponent, and let's see if maybe he picked up the third copy, but no, that's not the case. So finally now the Vermilion can be activated, and just as predicted, he will get back the Lulu. So.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel, if we draw like an Ash or Gamma, would be huge. But I mean, they are the only two cards I'm thinking at the moment. Because otherwise, Danilo has, you know, he can activate all of
right now he's completely fine. As mentioned, the Vermilion is such a great tool to revive later on with Cloud Castle. So I am smelling problems for Daniel. And maybe it will be the first time in the entire week to see a game free.
Yeah.
So a bit of a change from yesterday. Okay, so he has Gigi and...
he sent the Chuche. Yeah. I think at this point Danilo has a very good chance to seal this game, because it doesn't seem like Daniel has any kind of response to that. So... the GG is fine, and he sends the Qinglong, so he can also activate it. Maybe we'll get a Lao Lao. Let's see what he decides to do.
So one thing I can tell you guys is that Daniel is not playing Nibiru in the main or in the side deck, so at least Danilo doesn't have to worry about that in specific. The only other entrops that he might have was Ash, which we probably would have seen, so we can assume that he might not have another entrop in hand. So let's see.
It'll be very interesting to know why. He was not the only one player to decide not to play. Also, Adrian Dursu, we saw yesterday, was not main decking or side decking in Nibiru.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it was just more of a read, but we see that in the event and in the other side of the bracket specifically, we have a Dragon Link and a Phantom Knight deck, also similar, that are pretty much combo decks that suffer Nibiru a lot.
Yeah.
So if they end up in the final or in the other top 4, then I think they will regret this decision.
Because I think you are guaranteed to activate the Lancia anyways in the mirror match, because you can risk the number 75. So maybe that was the main decision not to play the Nibiru, because rather than that, maybe against the the Dragon Link deck is very good.
But for now, again, as predicted, Danilo is just going on full mode. You might see the Cloud Castle here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he will go for Cloud Castle, bring back the Vermilion deck. Or maybe the Shenshen if he really wants to, but I think the Cloud Castle should be fine. I think he's considering it.
Yeah, he's thinking about how much he can do, but yeah, the Cloud Castle comes down. He would bring back the Vermilion, and we'll see the first calamities for this mirror match, which is definitely not a common thing after 20 minutes of Virtual World. We haven't seen a calamities yet. which means, by the way, that from Monday on, when the new Forbidden Unlimited list will be effective, this deck is still viable, and it's up to you guys to just find other ways to combo off and make it even more efficient than it is already. So
yeah, I mean, we were talking about this team yesterday because we have seen a lot of virtual world players not relying on the virtual choking of all calamities, because you cannot always have access to it. And there are a lot of different combos, and also Virtual Wars is so powerful that you can basically play a lot of different Synchro Master in your extra deck. So
yeah, there are a lot of different combos that you can go for. Right now, the laziest in a way, because it's quite efficient and easy to do, is the Calamities, but there are multiple other ways that this deck can be played. So right now, plays resume, and it's on Danilo to continue his turn. There are no cards in Daniel's end that can negate the Cloud Castle, so for now, he will continue on.
Yeah, no surprise here. We will soon see us looking over Calamities, and
you think he should attack first and then make the Calamities just to play around a possible Lightning Storm?
I think so. I think it will be better.
Yeah, because Lightning Storm is one of the tools that we are seeing people side overall this weekend and in general, but it can only destroy monsters in attack position. Yeah. Therefore, that is the main reason why you're seeing Calamities being summoned in defense.
Yeah, you can get rid of the GG anyway, so I think it would be better anyway for Danilo to attack over it with the Vermilion mech.
Absolutely.
And here, just a little bit of clarification, maybe, just to be sure that everything is fine. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing this deck after the Forbidden Unlimited list tomorrow, because, I mean, it's a control deck, but at the same time, it's a very cool deck to see, because you have a lot of combos, and I would really like to see the variant with the Ultimate Tzolk'in. I hope really someone goes for it. But seems like the game state, everything is fine.
Yeah. Just gotta make sure that we don't have any technical problems with them, and for now it's quite smooth. Our judges are doing a great job both at fixing possible language barriers and technical issues that might arise between the players, but as you can see, they're also being provided with equipment and other ways to just avoid any possible problems this weekend. And also it's worth mentioning that Danilo is doing us a favor by sponsoring, just like yesterday, the Neuron app on the table on his phone, which is an incredible tool for Yu-Gi-Oh! You should check it out and download it and check all the possible features it contains. It makes dueling, and especially remote dueling, so much easier for you, and I suggest you all to check it out and download it on your phones.
He decides to go for Calamities here, because I think he doesn't want to risk any Lancia or Nibiru, so that's why maybe he decided to.
Yeah, I think he doesn't know. Maybe, I mean, if he followed the stream, maybe we could have talked about it, but overall, without knowing, you want to make sure that you play around Nibiru, and he felt like this was safer. He wants to push a little more damage, and this is a decent way to do it.
Now he sends the Lily, and he special summon the GG, and Nyan Nyan comes back.
He still has a lot, so the Nyan Nyan can come back, as he just discarded it with the Qinglong earlier in the turn, and now
I think maybe he can go for a Stardust Charge Warrior or Juju. Okay, he goes for Juju, fair enough. And let's see what he shuffles back with the Nyan Nyan here.
Yeah, the only thing he's missing at the moment would be the SHUEISHA of his own. But outside of this, he's doing a great job, and maybe there is option to go for an M7 later on and get to add a possible Entrop back to his hand, like the Lancia, which I think would seal the deal entirely.
Yeah, it's looking very good for Danilo. The only piece is missing, as you said, is the SHUEISHA, but rather than that, I think he has all the possible options here. If he really wants to, he could overlay the Juju and the Lau Lau, but I don't think he will. Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, I think it depends if he wants to go for the safer approach. I think M7, yeah,
Okay.
this is absolutely safe. The most obvious one would be to get back the Lancia, but let's see. He might even get back one of the resources for next turn.
Yeah.
But...
I think Lancia,
yeah. Lancia was just the safest option. The only thing I'm concerned with here is, as mentioned, that the order could have been slightly different, because now if Daniel sided the Lightning Storm, that could have been a punish, but of course we gotta keep in mind that it's not an obvious choice.
Yeah, I think Danilo wanted to avoid being Nibiru or Lancia, so I think he took this risk, but now he comes to Zeus.
Yeah,
which is something we don't see really much in a
absolutely
match, but it's here, so just in case.
Yeah, and of course the SHUEISHA for now is also locking the Storm, so he would need to get rid to find a way of getting rid of that before. But this seems like Danilo is doing a phenomenal job, I would say.
And maybe for the first time.
They're just trying even more their best, and also it's the second time they've been playing Dream. Yesterday there might be a tension, you know. Today they already won a match. They feel quite confident. As you can see here, Danilo, Lancia, Calamities, and Zeus, and I don't see how Daniel can come out of this. Maybe the talent is a way to start, but
I think the only card would be the talent, because rather than that, I don't think that he could survive the next turn, because he has the Zeus and the Calamities, and he also has the Lulu. So let's see. Yeah,
I think Daniel probably would have scooped to even just one of the 3 threats, but with all of them on the field, there was no chance at all. So well played by Danilo, and we have our first game 3 of the weekend. Who is gonna advance to the top 4 and claim his copy of the prize card? We'll soon find out, and now it's on Daniel to decide who is going first for the final duel.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting game, because they're not only playing, you know, to win, but who goes to the top 4, you know, gets the YCS prize card, and you know, it's one of these cards that you really want to add to your collection. You can share it with friends, you know, and yeah, I think we will see a very nice game. They fought hard in these two games. We've seen a lot of cool moves. Lance has been activated, King of all Calamities, the Zeus, and here I think there's no way Daniel wants to lose this one after winning game 1.
Yeah. It seems tough for now. It's also the first time we are seeing not only a game 3, but whoever goes first taking the game. So we'll see if this will be the case for game 3 as well.
And we saw that yesterday Danilo already played the virtual mirror match and was able to win.
Yeah. So Daniel is playing a interesting tactic card, which is there because he can play Foolish Curial Goods. So as you can see here, Mischief of the Gnomes, interesting card. It was played back in the day in Paleozoic sometimes because you can send it with Marrella, and it's useful against decks that rely on Synchro Summoning heavily. It was good against ABC as well.
Also in the Burning Abyss.
Yeah,
it was very good. Yeah,
absolutely. And here it can easily mess up some of the combos for these guys. So we'll see if we'll finally see that card in action. But
yeah, it's one of these cards you don't really expect from players to be played. But it's there, and hopefully we will see it in action.
Absolutely. So now, last time, one of these guys is gonna draw 5 or 6 cards of his weekend, while the other one will be the first to advance to the top 4. Let's see if it's gonna be Daniel or Danilo. Seems like they're pretty much ready, and luckily enough, there are still more than 20 minutes remaining, so time is still far. Okay.
Let's see if we will see for the 3rd time in a row a Pot of Prosperity.
And no, so this time we see more of a convention from Daniel. He normal summons the GG and reveals the Lily, which is a fair opening. He gets to send both the Queen Long and the SHUEISHA, since he's the one not playing the Xuan Hu.
Yeah.
And now, once again, Danilo, for every past duel, always had at least 1 or 2 entraps. Let's see if that would be the trend for this duel as well. But the Lancea at least is not there, because he would have used it for sure earlier on. Possibly even the Gamma. What do you think? I think the Gamma on Lily could have been really good if you see such a weak start.
Okay, this is very interesting because he decides to get rid of the triple tactic style. Maybe he has another copy.
I would say so.
Yeah, maybe he has another copy, or maybe he has Cold Buy.
And he does the opposite as Danilo did.
Because here you don't really want to get MP root, you know. And
the discarding triple tactics is definitely not something you see every day. So first thing that comes to mind is a second copy must be in the end. Let's see, because now the Lulu is activated and there is a Gamma. Okay. I'm not sure if I like this too much. Maybe he wanted to play it safe, but I think there is also a consideration that the Gamma on the Lily could have stopped Daniel turn entirely. I don't know, I have this feeling, but Danilo wanted to play it a little safer, and now let's see, because the second copy of Talent should be in the end for Daniel. I would be surprised if that wasn't the case. So if it's not there, it's the second time in a row that we see both Danilo and Daniel discarding a crucial card, and it doesn't seem like it is.
No. It's very tough now, because I think he's going for M7 once again.
Maybe it's just M7, get back the Lulu, and... okay, no, it's Beatrice, okay. So he wants to push forward, and maybe this is also one of the reasons why Mischief of the Gnomes is interesting. Not only you can send it with the goods, but it can also be sent with the Beatrice. So, and you can wait because you can send it later on as well. Let's see if that will be the case. Yes, so we do see Mischief of the Gnomes. So now, as predicted, the card comes in handy. Well played by Daniel to find a way to abuse of the card, which I think is really cool. And as predicted as well, the second copy was there. But Ash again from Danilo. So interesting first turn. Once more Danilo, 2 entraps, and once more Daniel finding out a way to go through. Do you think the Beatrice should have been summoned in defense? Is there a reason why he put it in attack?
I mean, I would have summoned in defense just in case, you know, just to be sure that maybe to prevent a lightning storm.
Yeah, the Gamma once more should be banished, but I'm pretty sure Daniel noticed. So.
The thing I was thinking about is the Ash, because Daniel, I think, knew where to activate the Ash Blossom. I think he knew Daniel could have their triple tactic.
Absolutely. So the Mischief. Okay, wow, and we see a set card. Interesting by Danilo. Like the Mischief can be held because, as we know, all the virtual words activate from hand. You can just chain it and then wow. But seems like Danilo completely bricked. So he just sets 1 card and pass. Plays back on Daniel, who can first of all even just use the second part of Beatrice, and he will do. Yeah. He has a lot of options. He can send the Queen Long potentially, but
it looks like maybe Danilo has plenty of entraps, or maybe
yeah.
you know. multiple copies of Laula or Lily Lancia.
Yeah, he just top decked the Lancia, which he didn't have last turn, and this is so bad for Danilo. When you are in such a spot, you hope that your entraps are able to break your opponent's hands as well, but Daniel already is doing well, and now he will be able to make a Gaia and then make the Zeus. So he's completely in control, and yeah.
And also because Daniel has 2 banish cards, this means that if his set card is a Chuche, you will be able to get rid of one of Danilo cards next turn. So here comes the Zeus, and it's looking good for Daniel now.
Yeah,
it's not going to be easy for Danilo.
This is definitely tough. It might be the case that Daniel will be the one who advances to the top 4. Now we do see one of the other cards, and maybe the reason why Daniel is not playing this card.
Yeah, I mean, I think he played a lot of mirror matches because he arrived there. You know, he played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh during the last few weeks, and I mean, it's an interesting choice. I would really like to know why he decided not to play this card.
Yeah, so, I think it's exactly for this reason. Yeah. It's an option that probably higher the ceilings make your ceiling higher, so your deck has more options to combo off. But at this time, it's a bad draw, and we are seeing here Danilo struggling with finding a way to combo off. And it might be too late even because the Mischief of the Gnomes is there, the Zeus is there, so tough times for Danilo.
Yeah, I think the only piece Danilo was missing the previous turn was a spell card because I think he has maybe one or two monsters.
Yeah, so now he's gonna force the negation. But I don't think you ever activated Zeus here. It's a bait. You know your opponent hand was weak. And if you use it, then you give them a Queen Long Engrave.
I think here you could just wait for an activation of a monster by Danilo, and then I think that this Daniel has a Chuche maybe set because he also has the Mischief, so I don't think that's very good.
That's possible, but yeah, the Chuche is even there, which is tough. Did he just chain it on Queen Long? I think so. So he chained it on the Queen Long, this way the Zeus is active, but at the same time he's giving his opponent a chance to fight back. I'm curious to see, these players were obviously both prepared and knew their deck really well, but I'm curious to see if he is able to play around the Mischief of the Gnomes, because that card is actually quite annoying.
Yeah.
But maybe he can he can manage a way. Let's see. So
yeah, now you cannot activate the Zeus because otherwise Danilo could use this one Wu to bring back the GG and then activate the Qinglong, so that's why he's not doing it.
Yeah, but doesn't seem like it will be an easy road for Danilo. He has to deal with the Zeus and with the Mischief of the Gnomes. So.
Yeah, the real problem is I think it's the Mischief, because I think Daniel can easily control this situation here, because I think Danilo's next move could be Qinglong activation. He has this one Hu, but yeah, I think he could go for the Qinglong here.
Let's see. So he does activate, meaning he will reveal the card in his hand is.
Okay. Well, maybe here we'll look for Lulu, Lao Lao.
Yeah, Lao Lao is also okay, but you really have to keep in mind how do you play around. At least you only have one card, meaning that the gnomes will pretty much only affect one of your monsters.
Okay.
He gets the Lulu. Okay. And it seems like Mischief is gonna be activated now. No, debating about it. I mean, you can wait.
Yeah, you can wait. I think you can also wait.
Okay, and the Ash. So he had a second copy of Ash, which is the reason why. Okay, so the Mischief is activated, which I think is not too impactful at the moment, since you can just Lulu and then get the Lalau, for example.
Do you think maybe he should have waited for the Lulu, because he could have changed the Zeus, right? So
yeah, the thing is, you still have to play around the Zeus, because if you now get the Lulu, you don't have a way. But since the Lulu will be a level 2, you cannot go for like number 75 or something like that. But let's see. So it.
I think he passed.
Yes, yeah, he ended his turn. That was my main concern, because I think he forgot about the Lulu being active. So
yeah.
Unfortunately, Danilo, I think, unfortunate play of the weekend. But at this level of competition, all your opponent needs is one mistake, and it can cost you the entire duel. And you can see here Daniel being overly excited with his combos. He knows his opponent entire hand, so he knows that there is no response, no way to interact with him, and Danilo is already at 5400. So
yeah, he just needs to find a way to deal 5400 damage here, and yeah, he can easily go for Synchro Summon, then attack with the Zeus. I think
if you even one Synchro and just Vermilion and destroy a card, then that's already enough. But we'll see with how many style points Daniel wants to end this. And for everyone supporting Danilo, unfortunately, it seems like his adventure will be over for this weekend. But nonetheless, he proved to be a formidable opponent. I think it could have gone either way, really. Especially this game 3. I think it was the one where he went back and forth the most, and Daniel had to play through 2 entraps in round 1.
For Daniel, so well played by him.
As expected, Vermilion hits the field, it will destroy the GG and just push for game with the rest. On top, there is even a Chushe, and I think Danilo just realized and picked up his cards. So we have a winner for the match. It's Daniel Hartmann, our first player to advance to the top 4. Who will be his opponent, we'll find out soon. But for now, congratulations, Daniel. What a way to start day 2. It's been a long day yesterday all over Europe, but out of the top 16 and the 8 matches we covered, there was not a single game 3 whatsoever, all 2-0s. But now, day 2, it's a completely different day. As for any event of Yu-Gi-Oh!, this is what I've been telling anyone asking me for advice. Just take every game as a new game. So if we're talking about a new day, then even more that works. Whatever happened until that point of a tournament is completely erased. And you can see it here. Yesterday, 8 matches, no one went to game 3. Now we begin, and in the first round, we already have a back and forth matchup with a lot of things going on. And I think it could have gone either way. So congratulations to both. But Daniel is the first player to advance to the top 4.
Yeah, congratulations to him. It was a very interesting match. I mean, yesterday we saw, as you said before, only 2 games in a virtual match. Now, Danilo played very well. He had a lot of interruption to stop him, and well played, Danilo. Maybe next time you will advance to the top 4, so congratulations anyway. It was a very huge adventure for you.
And absolutely, and now Daniel can enjoy some free time, prepare a coffee or something to eat, and meanwhile I think he will be in the first seat available, just watching for the next match coming up, because we will find out who the opponent for Daniel will be in the top 4 match. So thank you guys for watching, stay tuned, and we will be back soon with round 2.
Level up the storm with Armed Dragon Thunder. Popular themes make a triumphant comeback, and new strategies emerge to make their mark. Yu-Gi-Oh! Blazing Vortex. 9 cards per pack, each pack sold separately. Winter grows colder as the dragons of the ice barrier break free. The icy prison cannot hold the storm, and the return of Trishula is nigh. Structure deck, freezing chains. 46 cards per deck, each deck sold separately. Journey into the shadows where dark themes collide, creating unfathomable alliances, and new powers emerge unlike anything you've seen before. Yu-Gi-Oh! Phantom Rage. 9 cards per pack, each pack sold separately. Discover untold treasure in maximum gold. You can collect iconic duel monsters, special alternate artworks, and tournament mainstays in magnificent premium gold rare. 28 cards per box, each box sold separately. Level up the storm with Armed Dragon Thunder. Popular themes make a triumphant comeback, and new strategies emerge to make their mark. Yu-Gi-Oh! Blazing Vortex. 9 cards per pack, each pack sold separately. winter grows colder as the dragons of the ice barrier break free. The icy prison cannot hold the storm, and the return of Trishula is nigh. Structure deck, freezing chains. 46 cards per deck, each deck sold separately. Journey into the shadows where dark themes collide, creating unfathomable alliances, and new powers emerge unlike anything you've seen before. Yu-Gi-Oh! Phantom Rage. 9 cards per pack, each pack sold separately.
Welcome back once more to the remote Duel Invitational. Now we are in round 2 and we need to find out who our second player that advances to the top 4 will be. It will be just a good match as the one we just saw, and it will be the one between Joshua and Marijn. The matchup is completely different. In fact, Joshua will be using the last duelist of the day using Zodiac Eldlik. Yeah. What do you think of the deck?
My pick for the tournament, so
okay.
I really hope the deck goes into the top 4, but we gotta give credit to the other guy who's competing, so it's going to be a very tough match because it's not going to be easy.
Absolutely. So in round 1 we had a mirror match for Virtual World. Here they're playing different decks because we saw yesterday Marijn dominating pure Porsche and his Paleozoic deck with his own version of Eldlik and Red Eyes Fusion. So in this case, we will have a mirror match of Eldlik cards, but the rest of the deck are completely different. You know, Zoo is really good at going second, abusing Trident and then Zeus, so completely destroying your opponent's field, while the version from Marijn really wants to go first, set up a Dragoon, and play a lot of traps. He's maining 6 Solemns, so Judgment Strike, Torrential Tribute, so it's quite a more control-ish approach, but either way, they have had a really good journey this weekend, but we can talk more about what their accomplishments are once we go to the table. So let's just jump right in. And here they are. So as you can see, they have come here definitely prepared, as Joshua is the winner of the qualifier held in Germany. So absolutely one of the players to beat this weekend, while Marijn was the finalist for France. So in the first match today, we had the underdogs, let's say, because they beat the top-seeded players, while here it's a side of the bracket where the player who had the advantage, at least on paper, advanced to the top 8. So it's interesting. What do you think of this matchup? We have not seen before.
Yeah, we haven't seen this matchup before, but I mean, the thing is that Marijn is playing the Solemn Judgments, which can counter Joshua's deck, because Joshua's playing the Zodiacs, so if Marijn draws a lot of trap cards, maybe with only a Borbo, he could get easy access to the Zeus. But on the other hand, Marijn is playing the Solemn Judgments, so it's going to be an interesting match, because at the same time, it's kind of a rock deck mirror match, we could say. Because
yeah, it's tough. Yeah. It's one where I think Marijn maybe has a little bit of an advantage, but it's not gonna be one as the round one where Paleozoic literally stand no chance against his field. So it's interesting because at the same time the Dragoon is really powerful, but Zeus is a way to deal with it.
Yeah.
So it's a back and forth one, I'm sure. And now the die roll will be there, and unless they surprise us like last round, maybe it will be Joshua who begins. Let's see.
And as we were saying before, maybe the die roll here is not even that important because these are control decks. So, but maybe for Marijn could have a slight advantage considering that he's playing Solemn Judgment.
Okay, so Marijn does go first, and he opens well with the cursed Eldland, netting him a good advantage, and in a way reminding us of Clifford Scout, so paying 800 and just getting some advantage every turn. So, ooh, and a great opening. So he opens once again for the second time this weekend when he goes first, the Red Eyes Fusion. Arguably the best card in his deck.
I think this is the card you want to draw in your very first turn. It puts up a lot of pressure on your opponent with the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, and it's not easy to deal with this card, causes a lot of problems.
Yeah, and differently from yesterday, these players, I'm sure, checked out the action and they know what their opponent is playing. So this is an incredible opening by Marijn. 3 back rows, we know he's playing Solemns and a Dragoon, so what more can you wish for?
Yeah, quite an impressive start for Marijn here, and it's not gonna be easy for Joshua. He needs to find a way to deal with the Dragoon and deal some damage at the same time.
Because as mentioned, Marijn is playing Solemn Judgment, Solemn Strike, even Imperial Order in the main deck, so any of those cards would be absolutely a powerhouse.
And I think now Joshua needs to take some time to... Oh, okay, he goes for maybe a Blind Cyclone.
Yeah,
Would be
seems so.
Yeah.
So Blind Cosmic Cyclone, like back in the days, feeling his luck. What is he gonna get? It's Ice Dragon Prison. Okay. So it's a decent target, I would say, but probably not the one he was looking for. He rather hit a Solemn for sure. Let's see. Definitely not the start we expected. He's playing 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, the only guy this weekend maining it. And now the Whiptail comes down, which is interesting. It's also one of the ways where Dragoon can be outed, since it doesn't target. But let's see if he's just gonna try and crash or if he wants to push forward. So Marijn is considering his options. Yeah, so it seems like he just wants to attack the Dragoon.
Anything is way. Looks
Okay,
like,
decent option, but then the Dragoon will just negate it, I guess, by discarding a card. So, let's see.
Yeah, I think Joshua has a plan, because...
Do you think this is much better than just going for a Borbo, attacking directly and forcing it with the Zeus? I guess... I mean, that is better against the back rows, but...
How many Borbo does he play? 2, maybe?
He's playing... two of
Yeah,
everything.
I think maybe you can just go with Borbo and force him... Yeah, I think it would have been a decent option as
And
well.
now the Tanky, which is also kind of confusing to me, because maybe it gives him a play for next turn, but he also could have gone for a Terrorblade or a Rat right away.
Yeah, because now he's risking Marijn to activate it, maybe one of his... you could have maybe a Conquistador or something like that,
And yeah, that's it. So he sets 2, keeps Il Ratto for next turn, and just plays back to Marijn. So he draws and he's in a comfortable spot. So whenever the Cursed Eldland just sticks for one more turn, you're more than happy. And by having now the Golden Lord, the advantage is getting out of hand. And it seems like yesterday we commented on how the 2 players who brought Red Eyes Eldlik this weekend were just completely dominating their opponents. We'll see if this will be the case for today as well. They might meet in the finals if they do.
Yeah, the thing is that if you start things off with Cursed Eldland and the Red Dice Fusion, you really have easy access to the Golden Lord. So
and you got the Akero, I think.
Yeah.
So Agero is in the end, but Schoolmeister...
Is it Ghost Bell?
No, Ghost Bell, yeah, Ghost Bell. So Ghost Bell, pretty much the same thing.
Strike. Okay. He has a Solemn Strike on Bell.
Okay, so the Solemn Strike is there, meaning that Joshua played well around his opponent cards. If he would have committed 4 or 5 XYZs into a Zeus, the Solemn Strike would have been devastating, but at least now he's able to fight back easily.
Does Joshua play Torrential?
Joshua is... no, does not.
He's
He's not playing anything else outside of the Zodiac combo, which he wants to send with the Rat next turn.
And now he's taking some damage here with the Golden Lord and the Dragon. And he also has the Aguero for the next turn. Let's see if he has any response. Okay, he has Conquistador.
Yeah, Conquistador. Does he have the Sanguine to back it up? Wow. So Marlene, wow. Yeah, he flips his own copy of Conquistador, and at the end of the day, it was even the strike on the bell we are alighting right now that sealed the deal for Marlene. The fusion once more proving to be one of the key cards this weekend. We saw yesterday being used in the unique deck for the Phantom Knights Red Ice deck, and now again just proving almost to be unstoppable. So
yeah, this duelist told us yesterday they wanted to play something different rather than the Virtual World deck, and I think it's paying off also because to me it was quite unexpected to see 2 players playing Red Dice Eldritch, because most of the players usually rely on the Zodiac package, but I think the Red Dice Dark Dragon is shutting everyone.
Yeah, it seems like it makes sense. The main reasoning for Marijn when we interviewed him yesterday was that he didn't want to play a deck that lost to Calamities too much. Yeah. And I gotta say, it makes sense seeing how many Virtual Worlds were shown this weekend. Looking at the side decks, Joshua wants to go first this time, set up his own board, and he has his own copies of Solemn Judgment in the side deck, plus the third Cosmic, which might come in. But Marijn is not gonna give him an easy time.
Yeah, we saw yesterday that he was very prepared for this kind of matches because he's playing the Darkest Feather Dusters and the Lightning Storm as well. So I think this will go in for sure.
Absolutely, and he's also one of the few players this weekend who is playing Ghost Ogre. Yeah. Yesterday, Joshua was surprised by it. He normal summoned the Rat, thinking, okay, I'm gonna send my Zodiac combo, meaning that I get to take advantage of Zeus, and on top of that, I recycle my resources. But he was met by a Ghost Ogre, and it completely shut him down for 1 turn. So, yeah, exactly. And I'm sure the Marijn will just try and do the same here. So, let's see. I would be surprised if Joshua didn't start, but Marijn is also siding the Storms, the Feather Dust. Let's see. It will be a close one once more. Again, Cursed Eldland showing up. Arguably the best card in the deck.
It's one of the best after of the deck.
Yeah, of any Eldritch deck. So.
Yeah, started with getting one of your, the Golden Lord, the Conquistador, the Aguero, depending on what you have in your hand. Is very good. It puts you forward into the game. Yeah, the interesting thing is that playing the Dragoon gives you the opportunity to discard the Golden Lord, and the turn after you can immediately bring it back, sending the Eldland to the graveyard. So that is very good.
So now it's again a question. It doesn't seem like he will be shuffling his deck for the remaining of this turn. We have seen players using the Zodiacs, and he is. So he normal summon Therablade, then he will be discarding a card, which is the Bunny Blast.
Oh, okay.
And if Ghost Ogre comes down here, that's not pretty if you're Joshua.
And I think here Joshua will go maybe for Trident with a couple of materials. Okay, goes for Borbol. I think he could go immediately for Trident. Yeah.
No, he's going
Okay,
for
go to
Shaka 9.
Shaka 9 instead. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, he wants to go for a more aggressive board. I guess it can make sense as your opponent is playing a very slow deck. So you want to change your approach to the match. You have seen that it did not work well in game 1. So he just keeps a Bunny Blast on field and he makes a Trident in attack position, which is my only concern. But outside of that, it's understandable. And now 2 back rows to pair it up. So solid opening from Joshua. And now it's up to Marijn to prove that his version of Eldlik is the best one. Maybe we'll do so with a Lightning Storm to begin with. That definitely would be a good way to start. Let's see.
Maybe he has a cover of Dice Fusion.
Okay, so he starts things off pretty solid with the Golden Lord plus the Conquistador.
Would you get rid of the Druiden here?
I mean, you know that one of the backrows is the Conquistador, so it's kind of a gamble if you try to destroy them, but it's also possible that he has a Lightning Storm and he's playing it in a different way, so let's see. Definitely debating here whether to pick one of the other cards, and he does, and he hits the Conquistador. Yeah, so...
Maybe he has a way to deal with the Trident, or not, let's see.
Okay, probably taking a passive approach, setting 1, using it to get back the Golden Lord, and is the Aguero, so... Good start, solid start. He has 2 traps he can banish in the end phase to get even two more cards. So for now he hasn't lost anything, but the Trident will just get rid of the Golden Lord for now.
I think this is something we have already seen yesterday from Marijn, that he tried to force his opponent to destroy his own spell or trap card by setting in before, just, I mean, it's a fair opening from Marijn. I think now Joshua is going for Trident, no way.
Just reading his own XYZs, making sure he touches the right one, but unfortunately, he doesn't check out that the cursed, the Golden Lord cannot be destroyed when it is summoned by his effect. So you can see here why the matchup is on Marlijn's side. He can now banish 2, get the Conquistador and the Aguero back, and this is looking pretty strong from Marijn.
Well, we already said at the beginning of this match that it would have been very interesting, because both of these decks rely on pretty much the same resources, but kind of in a different way.
Oh, and he gets an elixir. Yeah. Surprising us. Maybe he already has the other traps, and this is also one of the few guys who is playing the spells this weekend. But yesterday we saw it actually giving him one of the wins, so it's working out for him. I think I'm convinced by this deck. It seems very solid across the board and doesn't really lose instantly to any of the other decks in the format. So.
Yeah, it's very consistent. You can deal with a lot of problems at the same time, and you can also afford to play cards such as Torrential Tribute, Sudden Judgment, Sudden Strides.
Okay, so Joshua, unfortunately, once again with the back against the wall, but Marijn taking advantage initially, so he thinks the Conquistador destroying the Eldland is a good idea, and he wants to prevent the advantage from his opponent from getting out of hand, and he's not afraid to give him a copy of the Golden Lord. So,
do you think he would have maybe Solemn Strike? Because I think he was very.
I think he has.
Safe,
he has something. He also has. I would be surprised if he didn't have the Aguero, because that can punish the Golden Lord quite effectively. Is that a set monster? Or no? Did you just
No, it's the end.
Put the end. Okay, I was like, wait, that seems a little unexpected. But...
Maybe here Joshua could go for a Borbo and trying to force Marijn, but If he goes for Borbo, he basically loses both of them. Yeah, because he already summoned one in the previous turn.
Yeah, so he attacks,
Okay.
and I would be shocked if Marijn didn't have an out, doesn't have an out, because he used the Conquistador immediately. I'm pretty sure he will have some sort of solution for the Zeus.
Strike, something like that.
He's waiting, so I'm sure once the Zeus will hit the field, we will see one of the Solemns, and here it is, Solemn Judgment coming down from Marijn, shutting. Ooh, but another Solemn instead of third? No. Wow! A chain of Solemn Judgment in 2021. Who would have expected? Unfortunately, it's Marijn who has even a second Judgment, and wow.
Last time I saw something like this when it's going to be this format.
Yeah, it's been a while, definitely, and wow, I don't think any of the players or the viewers watching would have expected such a possible ending to the top 8 match.
Okay, and now revives back the Golden Lore.
And this is still a match to be played.
Very close one.
Yeah, the advantage, of course, is on Joshua, but the life points are getting lower and lower because we just saw 3 Solemn Judgments being activated in the same turn, and that means the time these duelists have has definitely shortened. So maybe we will be back on the trend of not going to game 3, but for now, this is still a close one. Do you think the decision to take the Elixir is gonna come back to hurt him, or maybe it's the necessary damage he needs? I'm not
the
sure.
thing is that he had 2 Solemn Judgments, so he was protected enough. And maybe getting an Aguero would have put him forward. Okay, now we see a Ghost Bell on the Sanguine, which is good.
Okay.
As you said, maybe the Aguero in this situation would have been good. Also because the Sanguine was stopped by the Gospel.
Yeah, Gospel, not the most popular entropy this weekend, but still very useful against many of the decks of the format.
And what if he draws the Fusion?
Yeah, that's gonna be scary for Joshua, and you can see why that card is just so good. I mean, I'm not sure still if it's worth it without playing the other Red Eyes card, just the 3 single copies of Fusion, because it's kind of like saying I play 3 good cards but 2 really bad ones, similarly like to Gamma, but Gamma is a free 1 and Fusion is a free 2, which is much different. But it's working out for Marijn, so who am I to judge for now?
Maybe now Marijn is considering some extra deck plays.
Okay, so we see one of the World Chalice just like yesterday, instead of the Spider, and some Link summoning happening, definitely not the most usual Red Eyes Eldritch play you will see all weekend. So, is there gonna be a response here from his opponent? Doesn't seem so. So the Elixir will be sent to the graveyard to activate the Golden Lord. Again, is there a response from Joshua? No, doesn't seem he's interested in it. Let's see if he will be able to bring back something from his opponent graveyard with the Wind Charmer.
Yeah.
So he needs to bring back something wind. I'm not sure if there was any wind monster in grave. We can check probably the Borbo. Is it?
Is it wind?
No, it's probably all the Zodiacs should be Earth.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And now he gets to banish the trap cards and the spell cards as well. And now plenty of trap cards for Marijn.
yeah, so just playing. As expected, this is turning soon into a grind game, and maybe it will be the advantage back on Joshua, who has the ability to just recycle the Borbos and attack directly. So
yeah,
let's see. how do you try and push this final 18? Because I think if you deal with the Conquistador, then there is a good chance that a Borbo is good enough. Because with Borbo, then you Tiger Mortar back the Terrorblade, and it's enough to win the duel.
Yeah, but the real problem here is that Joshua already used both of these Borbo, because
I'm not sure if he used it in turn 1, honestly, because he went first. I would be surprised if he used it. I think he just...
Do you think he only used one?
No, I think he only used one. I think he started with the Kong and the Chaka 9, but I'm not sure if... I don't think he used the Borbo.
Maybe you're right, yeah. Okay, let's for Sunwin.
Again, nothing too much to worry about, but it's a very weird game, the one we're witnessing. It's more like they're both on the defense. They got scared off by the Solems, and now they are trying... Ooh, but the rip from the top is the Red Ice Fusion once again. So this is a game changer. I think this is exactly the draw that Marijn was waiting for. Wow.
And now it changes everything.
Yeah, now I don't see how Joshua can come out on top. He can just push so much, and I think the back rows were even known.
Yeah.
So tough. Maybe once again the fusion will just be the card that once drawn just wins you the game on the spot. So
maybe Joshua was hoping that Marijn didn't draw the Red Ice Fusion, but
yeah,
I think it's now.
But okay, now the droplet. So one of the mysterious cards, or rather the only one remaining, was a droplet. So at least he will be able to gain some time for now. Is it gonna be enough to guarantee him some more time needed to advance to the top 4? I'm not sure, but at least he doesn't have to worry immediately about the threat. So
let's see if now Marijn finds a solution to deal the last 2000 damage. Okay, it doesn't seem like he negated it. Maybe we will...
No.
Does he negate it? Okay.
Yeah, because he couldn't chain it.
Yeah.
So...
Okay.
No, it's tough. It's probably just gonna get back some of his advantage and just wait one more turn. So he banished it. He might have the other Elixir if he feels like it, or just the last copy of Conquistador. Let's see. Okay, he gets the Akero. So again, nothing to say. We get to see finally the Conquistador, which will come and try to destroy the Dragoon once it's negated, but well played by Marijn. Wow. Okay.
Maybe we...
Yeah, because because of the Dragoon, he cannot activate it.
Yeah.
The same turn you activate the fusion. So well played by Joshua, recognizing that the only out he had was this specific combination of droplet to negate the Dragoon and then the Conquistador. And luckily for him, now we're back at where we were. It's gonna be a long one. It's a stall. It's a Mexican standoff, and the first one who will break it will just win the duel. So if it is Joshua, we're going to game 3. If it's Marijn, we already complete our first top 4 matchup.
Could Joshua somehow manage to have access to his extra deck with the Golden Lore? Maybe...
I think the one who can access it the most is Joshua for sure, but...
Now Joshua is maybe link summoning. Okay.
Well played. So now he goes for one of the cards we rarely see, which abuses the fact that the old monsters are zombies, and he will try to just fish for something else from the graveyard of Marijn, and if he does, he can even draw one card. So I think they are both actually using the card. Yeah, the vampire sucker.
Let's see if Marijn responds to it. think just clarifying maybe he's just asking for the effect.
Because he's not super familiar, which I'm surprised because we usually see it in every Eldlik deck. But I just noticed that Marijn, due to the fact that he's playing Pot of Prosperity as well, he's not using the card, so it's understandable that he's just asking for a translation. And I will try to bring it up for you guys on the screen as well. So here it is. As mentioned, you can link summon this card by using 2 zombie monsters. And it's quite useful because it allows you to special summon a monster from your opponent's graveyard. And he will try to just steal the Dragoon from his opponent. This is why we are seeing a Conquistador, not a surprise. He comes back and will deny any scam opportunity, I would say, from Joshua. Is this gonna be enough to win the game? Marijn has managed to summon so many monsters right now, and we even see a Red Eyes on field, which is, I think, not usual at all.
And this is one of the grind games you really want to see when you play this kind of deck.
This is definitely the grindiest, and now we see the Pleiades, which once more another of the tools, incredible from Marijn, who I think studied this deck from start to finish. Okay, and finally we see even another Golden Lord. So the third copy of the Golden Lord, discarded alongside Prosperity to target possibly the last known card. So let's see. Is it the droplet?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sanguine, the droplet is chained. This might...
And once again, I think the droplet is saving Joshua from losing this game. Maybe it's chaining the Pleiades here. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Conquistador is chained.
So not a surprise at all. Conquistador is summoned, but there is no Golden Lord at the moment, just because of the order of things. Now we will use the Sanguine, and at the end of the chain, the Conquistador is sent back to the end. Little confusing, but now, as you can see, the Gustav Max hits the field, and it should be more than enough to seal the deal. Gustav Max wins one more, just like in day one. Incredibly, the duel for Marijn, who will be meeting Daniel in top 4. So congratulations, and we have the winner of round 2. Great things, back on the no game free train, but congratulations to Marijn. It's been a fantastic duel, quite different from round 1. It was more of a back and forth combo match. Now completely the opposite. It was control, and I gotta say, let's first of all see what the bracket looks like right now. As you will see, we have the first top 4 match ready. It will be Daniel with his virtual world deck against Marijn with the Red Eyes Eldlik. Yeah. What do you think?
I think that Marijn is showing everyone that his deck can really beat every single other deck. So I think I would be scared if I were Daniel. Also because Marijn showed us that with the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon you can easily beat all the competition. So it's going to be a very interesting match.
Absolutely, and they showed us that they know their deck very well. Daniel completely destroyed Danilo, even though it was a very back and forth. But in game 3, he showed that he can play through multiple entrops. But this time, he will be up against something completely new. He's not facing entrops, he's facing Red Eyes Dark Dragoon and actual traps. So torrential solemns, definitely a different approach. I do like Marijn deck list and the way he showed us even here. In up until this point, I feel like he had a pretty easy time. So he summoned Dragoon against Paleozoics, and he summoned Dragoon here in game 1. no opposition, easy game, just attack and win. But this game is the first time he's actually put in a tough spot, an actual grind game where he needs to take some good decision. But the highlight of this game must be the triple solemn change, which is definitely something cool to see in 2021. Regardless, thank you again, guys, for watching. As you could see from the bracket, we still have 2 more matches from the top 8, and we will be advancing soon to the top 4 and the final to declare the winner. Keep watching, and we will be back soon with round 3.